Stop dragging your feet. If you're ready, then come and face death obediently. Gu Abyss took a step forward, and the surrounding void instantly shattered. Waves of overwhelming dark energy spread like a sky curtain, suppressing everyone present. He could have easily wiped out the three of them with his crushing power, but in order to let the demonic scholar enjoy and pursue that perfect art, this scene unfolded.
Attack!
Xiao Yan snorted coldly upon seeing this, and took the first step to strike. Although Gu Abyss's power was unfathomable, Xiao Yan still planned to probe his strength to determine which methods to use to suppress him. Swish! Swish! As Xiao Yan, Xun'er, and the Supreme Heavenly Emperor made their move, their bodies blazed with brilliant flames. Their speed was ghostly fast, and their sharp attacks were unmistakable. In the blink of an eye, they had surrounded Gu Abyss. The attacks they unleashed were all within the realm of immortal arts, clearly indicating that against a powerhouse like Gu Abyss, there was no need to hold back. They had to use their true abilities from the start, or they would be defeated too quickly. Formless slash. Leading the charge, Xiao Yan arrived by Gu Abyss's side and let out a low growl. The ancient ruler on his hand shone with sacred runes, and a formless ripple of energy slowly emanated. Clang, clang, clang. The full force strike from Xiao Yan seemed impressive, but it didn't cause any substantial harm to Gu Abyss. It only brushed against his clothing, moving it slightly. Crack! Gu Abyss extended his hand and suddenly grasped at the void. Instantly, Xiao Yan's formless slash was shattered. The backlash sent Xiao Yan stumbling, and he skidded awkwardly through the air. Not bad, Sacred Flame Fire. How about you hand it over to me? Gu Abyss easily deflected Xiao Yan's attack and mocked him, a greedy aura spreading outward. 6 suns illuminating the day. Xun'er, seeing this, grew anxious. She let out a delicate shout, and golden light erupted around her. Countless golden rays transformed into fiery spirits. In the blink of an eye, 6 sacred firebirds formed behind her. Each firebird was adorned with divine flame runes, burning with the intensity of a blazing sun. They illuminated the entire void, and a subtle tremor spread across the heavens. Whoosh! Under Xun'er's masterful control, the 6 golden birds surged forward, roaring towards Gu Abyss. They spread their wings, releasing a holy, scorching aura and gathering immense golden flames, resembling blazing suns, as they pressed down upon Gu Abyss. Hemph! Ancient immortal realm. Gu Abyss, seeing this, didn't dare be careless. After all, this was a flame ranked in the top 10 of the sacred flame list. Even though Xun'er had just inherited its power and barely grasped a fraction of it, its potential was still formidable. Whoosh! Countless icy flower crystals emerged from Gu Abyss's body, and white cold air rushed out, forming chilling ice flowers around him. Within these ice flowers, countless petals bloomed, sending bone-chilling cold sweeping across the entire plaza, drastically lowering the temperature. Bang! 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 The ice crystals and 6 golden birds lightly collided, and the dazzling golden light overwhelmed the ice flowers, shattering them instantly. The top 10 sacred flames were truly terrifying. Freeze for me! Gu Abyss sneered at the powerful 6 golden birds, and, with a roar, the surrounding void collapsed. Boundless demonic energy surged out, merging with his extreme ice power in a standoff. After a moment, their terrifying clash turned into mist and dispersed gently across the plaza. At first glance, it seemed like a draw. Are you all right? After the attack ended, Xun'er's body trembled violently. Clearly, summoning the 6 golden birds had taken a toll on her. She involuntarily staggered backward, unsteady on her feet. At this moment, Xiao Yan quietly appeared, wrapping his arms around her slender waist and speaking in a deep voice. I'm fine. Xun'er nodded, but her gaze remained wary of Gu Abyss. Ancient, immortal, colossal elephant. Just as Xun'er finished her attack, the Supreme Heavenly Emperor's back erupted with a towering golden giant. It stomped forward, attempting to crush Gu Abyss with immense pressure. Get lost! Gu Abyss roared, and fiery red flames formed energy ripples, spreading out like waves. Thud! As the red energy waves spread, the golden giant behind the supreme heavenly emperor instantly disintegrated, collapsing into nothingness. The combined might of the three strongest fighters failed to harm Gu Abyss. The perfection of 8-star Docian was truly overwhelming. This guy, he's a dual-attribute powerhouse with both ice and fire. It seems we'll have to rely on you two from here on out. Xiao Yan's expression changed drastically, his mind already working. Don't worry, Xiao Yan. Leave it to us. Xun'er smiled gently, understanding Xiao Yan's thoughts. Xiao Yan's body swiftly retreated, nearly vanishing, suddenly transforming into a streak of fiery arc that sped backward. Meanwhile, his mind raced intensely. How should he deal with the powerful Gu Abyss? The fusion of 6 colored sacred flames requires considerable time. Given the urgency of the battle, there's no way to afford such a delay. It's not possible. The Dark Nether Soldier belongs to the darkness, and with the wisdom of the demonic scholar, he might suspect something that's also not an option. No, I must act quickly. Xiao Yan pondered a solution, his gaze falling on the two figures above who were being toyed with by Gu Abyss. A surge of extreme killing intent rose within him. At this point, there's no choice but to try. I hope I can control the clan mark's power. Otherwise, if I end up killing an 8-star Docian at the peak, especially one who is on the verge of touching reincarnation, my troubles will be immense. Xiao Yan closed his eyes, and his flame mantra surged at full speed. Powerful soul energy communicated with the depths of the Xiao clan's bloodline within him, attempting to infuse the clan mark with that power, seeking to deliver a devastating blow to Gu Abyss with the unpredictable strength within the clan mark, hoping to reverse the current disadvantage. Xiao Yan still didn't fully understand the power of the clan mark, as it seemed different from ordinary clan marks. However, his concerns were unwarranted. Even if Xiao Yan could perfectly unleash the clan mark's power, it would only injure Gu Abyss at best. Directly killing him was out of the question, unless Xiao Yan's strength broke through to the 8-star level, in which case, combined with the clan mark's power, the power of the Xiao clan's clan mark was terrifying indeed. But Gu Abyss, a dignified 8-star Docian at the peak, was not someone to be underestimated, either in strength or intellect. Boom! On the entire square, Xun'er and the Supreme Heavenly Emperor were fiercely attacking, while Xiao Yan remained calmly seated, contemplating his next move. It's almost time. Don't disappoint me now, or the next part of the game will be unnecessary. The demonic scholar seemed uninterested in the battle and had no intention of interfering with Xiao Yan. Gu Abyss was a test he had set for them. Only by defeating Gu Abyss could they qualify to play the game with him. He didn't care about the method. All he cared about was the outcome. After all, to him, all people were mere pawns. As the battle below intensified, 12 stone pillars symmetrically surrounded an altar, and in the center, a stone chessboard slowly appeared. Yet, instead of chess pieces, an unexplainable evil energy filled the board. Boom, boom, boom. On the Gu clan square, Xun'er and the Supreme Heavenly Emperor fought back fiercely against Gu Abyss. Xiao Yan, however, was brewing a terrifying killing move, while hundreds of powerful soul entities behind him exchanged glances. They had wanted to act, but without Gu Yuan's command, they dared not act rashly. Brother Gu Yuan, since the Supreme Heavenly Emperor has passed the command to you, you should take charge. We old bones may be quite aged, but we can still put up a fight for the Gu clan. Even if we die in battle, it will be an honor. An elderly figure, transparent like a ghost, spoke to Gu Yuan, his voice deep with meaning. Yet, the suffocating aura within him was well concealed. An 8-star Docian at the peak, Elder Gu Tong. Hee, Elder Gu Tong, please calm down. Gu Yuan smiled faintly, having sensed something. It must be said, behind him, among the hundreds of soul entities, there were not only 2 8-star Docian at the peak, but also 5 at the mid-8-star Docian stage, dozens at the early 8-star Docian level, and close to 100 7-star Docian experts. Though they were only soul entities now, they still represented a formidable force. Are you waiting for something? A soul entity beside Elder Gu Tong flickered slightly and moved closer to Gu Yuan, the third elder of the Gu clan, an 8-star Docian at the peak, Gu Yuan. The situation is critical. Clan leader Gu Xun'er and the Supreme Heavenly Emperor can temporarily hold back Gu Abyss, while our task is to protect Lord Xiao Yan. Gu Yuan's gaze flickered as he slowly looked at the quietly seated Xiao Yan. At that moment, a crimson hue began to appear around Xiao Yan, signaling the activation of his bloodline power. Even Gu Yuan, drawn by this display, felt an unprecedented sense of fear emanating from Xiao Yan's body. This guy, although he possesses sacred flame and is incredibly strong, his actual strength. Gu Yulan and Gu Tong exchanged a glance, then shook their heads simultaneously. A 7-star Docian at the peak. No matter how gifted, it was impossible for him to inflict substantial damage on Gu Abyss, an 8-star Docian at the peak. They couldn't understand what Gu Yuan meant. Everyone, please trust me. At this point, to turn the tide, we have no choice but to place all our hope on Xiao Yan. Gu Yuan looked at the surrounding experts, seeing their disbelief, and immediately spoke with righteous determination. But the two 8-star Docian elders exchanged looks, and many of the powerful figures behind them seemed momentarily lost in thought. I am willing to accept the punishment according to the clan rules for all the issues, Gu Yuan declared. A brilliantly shining token with the character Gu on it appeared in his palm, radiating with extraordinary brilliance. Vroom vroom. The terrifying force left no room for resistance from the spiritual bodies. After all, this was the Gu clan's military order, and none of the Gu clan members could defy it. Clearly, the Supreme Heavenly Emperor had already handed this token to Gu Yuan. Good. Then this time, we will follow your command. Both the core elders, Gu Tong and Gu Yulan, spoke simultaneously. Attack. Protect Xiao Yan. Gu Yuan smiled with satisfaction. With a blink, he soared into the air, heading directly towards Xiao Yan's position. Thud. On the other side, Xun'er and the Supreme Heavenly Emperor's repeated attacks were easily neutralized by the Gu Abyss. Interesting kid. But in front of me, you are a bit too ambitious, Gu Abyss murmured. Ancient immortal finger. After temporarily repelling them, Gu Abyss watched as Xiao Yan's bloodline surged, and an overwhelming aura, akin to a giant dragon awakening from slumber, began to slowly manifest. Gu Abyss smiled softly, raised his hand, and extended his index finger. A rare energy gathered at his fingertip and shot towards Xiao Yan. In an instant, the world seemed to lose color, and a violent wind raged. It appeared as though Xiao Yan would be completely obliterated by this one finger. No! Xun'er cried out, tears sparkling in her beautiful eyes. The golden reincarnation seal on her forehead flared up fiercely, showing faint cracks. Wait! The Supreme Heavenly Emperor quickly pressed Xun'er down and then retreated rapidly. Damn it, just a little more. Xiao Yan roared internally, feeling the spine-chilling pressure of the incoming finger. The power of the Xiao clan's bloodline could only unleash its deadliest attack when the clan's mark was infused with it, but this required time. And during the spell's casting, Xiao Yan couldn't afford to be distracted. If he were to divert his attention, the spell would fail. Crack! Eternal Immortal Seal. Immortal Stone Orchid Shield. Just as the deadly attack was about to strike Xiao Yan, and Xiao Yan was about to give up on casting the spell, the air around him began to twist and distort. Spiritual bodies, accompanied by bursts of extremely violent energy, surged forth. Crack! Gu Abyss's mighty finger was instantly countered by a combined effort from many powerful figures. Don't worry, keep casting. We'll handle the rest, but in the end, it all depends on you, Gu Yuan said, patting Xiao Yan's shoulder with a smile. Xiao Yan nodded lightly. The power within him surged once more, and his bloodline energy churned, forming a blood-red light shield around him. His third eye slowly opened at his forehead, like a long-sealed vertical eye that was now slightly opening, waiting for the moment when it fully opened to dominate the world. Gu Tong, Gu Yulan? The Supreme Heavenly Emperor was startled, unwilling to let these people take action, especially since the enemy was hidden and they were at a disadvantage. Let's buy him some time. The group exchanged glances, then unleashed a terrifying assault, aimed directly at Gu Abyss. Boom! The massive scene of hundreds of people attacking one person on the plaza was visually stunning, but not long after, these attackers were covered in wounds of all sizes. The perfect 8-star Do Xian, which touched upon the realm of reincarnation, couldn't be defeated merely by numbers. This isn't going to work. At this rate, the spiritual bodies of these elders will completely dissipate, Yuan said, shaking his head as he looked at the bloodied elders. Since you're of no use anymore, then perish. Seemingly tired of this pointless battle, Gu Abyss's long black hair exuded an eerie aura. His body slowly rose into the air, surrounded by flames of fiery red and strands of pure white ice, intertwining around him like a true deity preparing to hold the world accountable. Gulp! Looking at Gu Abyss's terrifying form, the people below felt an unprecedented silence of death. Ice-fire reincarnation. Die! Gu Abyss spoke as if he were a demon, looking down from above. The combined forces of ice and fire coursed through him, and an energy storm, towering over 10,000 feet, roared behind him. Each roar threatened to devour the world. It seemed as though all of their power was nothing more than ants before it, laughably insignificant. Thank you all for your efforts. Let me take it from here. Shao Clan Mark Power, activate. Amidst the apocalyptic scene, a blood-red figure appeared, like the last trace of dawn's light in the darkness. Slowly, he walked forward. At his forehead, a golden vertical eye, exuding an air of supreme dignity, slightly opened. At the center of his brow, a third eye. The vertical eye flickered faintly. The cycle of ice and fire, bring me slaughter. Feeling the terrifying, unfathomable, and eerie power within Xiao Yan's body, Gu Abyss was struck with shock. There was no time for any thought. Behind him, an ice-fire storm containing the power of reincarnation roared like a raging wind, charging toward the people gathered in the plaza below. The power of reincarnation, combined with the perfect cycle of ice and fire, would likely result in the demise of even a true 8-star Do Xian, leaving only the tragic end of their fall. The power of the clan mark, extinguish. Xiao Yan smiled faintly, closing both eyes. In their place, a golden vertical eye opened, emitting a blinding golden light. A warm, indescribable sensation spread throughout the hearts of the people, and the entire world was enveloped by the golden radiance of Xiao Yan's vertical eye. In this moment, the source of all things trembled slightly. The entire world turned golden, filled with an indescribable harmony. In contrast, the destructive ice-fire storm, under the cycle of reincarnation, was gradually diluted and faded away, like a gentle breeze with no killing power. Crack, crack. Under the contempt of the golden vertical eye, the ice-fire storm imbued with reincarnation power was firmly bound in place, unable to move. After a moment, sounds of cracking were heard, and noticeable cracks appeared as they emerged from within the storm. Glup. No, this is impossible. At this moment, Gu Abyss's pupils contracted sharply, a sense of unprecedented fear rising in his heart. All power was lost, his attack shattered. Gu Abyss now felt as though he were trapped in a divine temple, its magnificent aura suppressing him, making him too afraid to harbor any malicious thoughts. He could only stand there, blank-eyed, gazing at the sky, awaiting Xiao Yan's next move. Tear. Feeling the terrifying power of Xiao Yan's clan mark transform into a vertical eye, a thick black liquid surged out from within Gu Abyss's body, completely enveloping him. An evil aura slowly revived. Good opportunity. The power of the clan mark, deprive. Seeing the black liquid, Xiao Yan smiled. The golden vertical eye on his forehead suddenly closed, then opened again. A golden beam of light shot through the heavens and earth, directly piercing through the black liquid that enveloped Gu Abyss's body. The power within the golden beam was beyond comprehension, and no one could understand or break it. The people could only quietly kneel, witnessing ancient runes from a bygone era blazing with light, suppressing the endless evil spirits. The beam directly struck the black liquid that had taken over Gu Abyss's body. This was the moment Xiao Yan had been waiting for. The black aura was clearly the core that controlled Gu Abyss. Once it was destroyed or severely damaged, Xiao Yan believed he could awaken Gu Abyss. Dual clan marks? Impossible. At this moment, a chilling voice surged from the black aura inside Gu Abyss. Whoosh! The golden beam easily pierced through Gu Abyss's chest, striking the blackest, densest part. Ah! An ear-piercing, miserable scream erupted from Gu Abyss's mouth. The black liquid seemed to have been fatally injured, rapidly gathering toward his chest, trying to heal the fatal wound. Senior, this is my limit. The rest is up to you. Xiao Yan spoke, and the vertical eye vanished. He collapsed weakly onto the plaza. Get out! As if sensing Xiao Yan's good intentions, Gu Abyss's aura in the sky underwent a dramatic transformation. His hands clutched his head, his face pale, sweat pouring from his forehead, as he screamed in agony. Boom! After a few breaths, Gu Abyss clasped his hands together, gathering the power of reincarnation into his palms, and suddenly struck his chest, where the last trace of the evil aura resided. The target of his attack was none other than his own heart. Crack! With a sound, sensing Gu Abyss's self-destructive resolve, the black liquid within him trembled and fled, heading straight toward the demon scholar on the altar. Master, Master, Gu Abyss has broken free from my control. The black aura, now at the demon scholar's throne, spoke with a defeated tone. It doesn't matter. The demonic scholar was unfazed, casually responding. Clang, clang, clang. After all this, Gu Abyss returned to normal, but his body suddenly plummeted from the sky. However, the aura within him felt much lighter, and the evil presence could no longer restrain him. Little one, thank you. After dispelling the evil aura, Gu Abyss crashed into the plaza, creating a large crater. He spoke to Xiao Yan with a soft voice, filled with gratitude. It's too early to thank me now. Xiao Yan, struggling to hold his weakened body upright, quickly helped Gu Abyss to his feet. After confirming that the evil source within him was thoroughly cleansed, he finally felt at ease. The evil origin that controlled Gu Abyss has been driven away, and Gu Abyss has returned to normal. However, its strength has been greatly affected, and it seems that it can only handle a late 8-star Docian at most. As for achieving perfection, it seems out of reach. After all, expelling the evil origin has consumed an enormous amount of energy from both Xiao Yan and Gu Abyss. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Clap, clap. Just as everyone felt the crisis approaching, the demonic scholar slightly rose, slowly clapping his hands. The sound was eerily sinister, as if Gu Abyss breaking free from control had no impact on his lofty posture, as if everything was still under his control. Demonic scholar. Gu Abyss seethed with resentment. Back when he led the majority to the Soul Hall to annihilate them, it was the Soul Hall and the demonic scholar who secretly conspired and completely controlled them. This was the scene they had now. As the patriarch of the Gu clan, a late 8-star Docian who had touched upon reincarnation, it was a humiliation. The best way to erase this humiliation was to kill the demonic scholar and avenge himself. Congratulations on passing the trial. Next, you may proceed to the next game. However, I must remind you in advance that anyone who breaks the game rules will be left with no place to be buried, the demonic scholar said, releasing an overwhelming aura of bloodlust that caused the entire world to tremble. This is bad. It's the demonic scholar's evil artifact. Gu Abyss, disregarding his own weakness, felt the world spinning around him and couldn't help but roar in panic. Gu Abyss had once been fortunate enough to witness the demonic scholar's evil artifact. Unlike other rulers, the artifact did not exude a strong killing aura, but the power contained within it was indisputable. Even Gu Abyss felt a pang of dread. It's too late. Seeing Gu Abyss make a move to stop the game's activation, the demonic scholar sneered, and thousands of shadows surrounded him from the dark, enclosing him. Our own bodies. Gu Tong, Gu Yuan, and the others behind them took a deep breath as they saw their own bodies being controlled by the extraterritorial evil clan. They couldn't help but gasp in shock. The group was bound by these powerful beings, leaving them no choice but to stand still and await the demonic scholar's so-called game to slowly unfold, not knowing if it would be death or rebirth. Whoosh! The demonic scholar's voice faded, and a brilliant blood aura erupted, instantly enveloping countless strong figures. Tiny black, sand-like particles silently descended into their bodies. What is this guy really up to? Feeling the space around them spinning out of control, Xiao Yan couldn't help but ask, sensing that the demonic scholar had used a powerful method to transport them into some special void. After a moment, the group found themselves in a forest. The entire space here was filled with towering ancient trees, their branches exuding a deathly silence and solemnity. The ground was soaked with a thick, pungent smell of blood, as fresh blood carpeted the earth. A sinister aura filled the air, corroding every inch of land and air, and this terrifying scene assaulted everyone's mind and spirit. It felt as though death was close at hand. Welcome to my game, the life and death chessboard. This is the forest of death. Only those who successfully pass through the forest of death are qualified to play chess with me. Moreover, the outcome of the game determines your fate, so decide carefully who among you will face me. Good luck to you all. The demonic scholar's deranged voice was especially jarring as it echoed through the deathly forest. Master, is this too risky? The life and death chessboard is the evil artifact ranked 20th among our extraterritorial evil clan. If you lose, we will face the artifact's punishment, and since no one has ever escaped from it, we may have to suffer the consequences. The evil origin that had once controlled Gu Abyss' body spoke up from the altar, watching the thousands of spirits in the forest of death on the chessboard. Humph! What do you know? Those evil gods sit high above, thinking they can control us, but what are they compared to my art? This is art, not to be desecrated. The demonic scholar ignored him, giving a slight smile, and sat back down on his black throne, watching the shadows on the chessboard, observing Xiao Yan and the others' movements. This guy is truly an unmitigated madman. On the edge of the forest of death, Gu Abyss looked at the desolate scene in front of him and couldn't help but shake his head. Senior Gu Abyss, what's going on? Xiao Yan, Xun'er, and Gu Tong, along with several elders, moved closer to ask Gu Abyss. Behind them, the thousands of spirits stood silently at the edge of the forest of death. Without their nod, no action would be taken. The life and death chessboard ranked 20th among the evil artifacts of the extraterritorial evil clan. To use it requires considerable time and countless bloodshed. Its purpose is to use all the living beings on the chessboard as pawns, with the outcome of the match between the two players determining the life or death of everyone behind them. A rare gravity flashed across Gu Abyss's face as he realized that after barely escaping the control of the evil spirits, he had been dragged into such a terrifying event. ZZZZ. As Gu Abyss solemnly explained, the brand on Xiao Yan's palm began to flicker. Be cautious. This evil artifact not only contains an evil aura, but the aura of the netherworld is even stronger. The dark nether soldier communicated with Xiao Yan through the seal and handprints. The power of the netherworld? Xiao Yan hesitated at the mention of it. Look at these. After a moment, under the guidance of the dark nether soldier, Xiao Yan understood and gently reached into the void, causing strands of dark matter to appear, resembling grains of sand. What is this? Xun'er, Gu Abyss, and the others hurriedly gathered around as they saw Xiao Yan's action. This is dark matter. It has already taken root in our bodies since we entered here. If the player loses, we will also perish along with it. Of course, conversely, if we win, the demonic scholar and all the forces controlling the Gu clan behind him will be destroyed in the evil artifact. This is the terrifying power of darkness and the rule of the netherworld. Even someone as strong as the demonic scholar, who is at the late 8-star Do Xian stage, cannot change it. Xiao Yan explained everything he knew in one breath. Listening to Xiao Yan's explanation, the others, along with the thousands of spirits present, shook their heads. The boundary of the death forest was dead silent. Everyone knew that Xiao Yan's words were true, but no one dared to speak, knowing that this chessboard would decide the fate of countless powerful figures. Xiao Yan, brother, I will go, Xun'er said, her delicate hand resting on her back as she turned elegantly, facing away from Xiao Yan. She was now the new leader of the Gu clan, and whether for the public or personal reasons, it was her responsibility to take on this heavy burden. No, the Gu clan needs you, Xiao Yan said firmly, grabbing Xun'er's arm. I'll go. It's comforting that Xun'er is taking my place. I've made too many mistakes in the past. Let this unqualified clan leader make amends for once. Seeing the struggle between Xiao Yan and Xun'er, Gu Abyss couldn't help but smile wryly. Sorry, Senior Gu Abyss. This time, it seems I must go alone, Xiao Yan said with a slight smile, his voice filled with resolute determination. No. Both Gu Abyss and Xun'er coldly rejected in unison. Xun'er would never allow Xiao Yan to take such a risk, and Gu Abyss, seeing the potential in this young man, certainly wouldn't let his future be wasted. I have some knowledge about the dark powers and dark matter, and I know a little about the chess game. If you are willing to entrust your lives to me, I am willing to give it a try. Xiao Yan suddenly turned around, his voice carrying clearly, so much so that even the thousands of spirits heard it. Isn't there any other way? Listening to Xiao Yan's grave words, the spirits behind him sighed helplessly. They were all powerful and of high status, with boundless futures ahead of them. But how had they fallen into such a terrifying disaster? The dark matter has already infiltrated our bodies. If we avoid fighting, we will all perish here soon. In this chess match, we still have a 50% chance of winning. Xiao Yan knew he couldn't force them. He could only explain the situation clearly and wait for their decision. Xiao Yan, brother, I believe in you. I do too. As soon as Xiao Yan's words fell, without any hesitation, Xun'er and Yuan both stepped forward, smiling at Xiao Yan, their voices filled with unwavering trust. I also agree that Xiao Yan should take on the battle in the life and death chessboard. Soon, Gu Abyss, Gu Tong, Gu Yuan, and the others all nodded. We are willing to entrust our lives to Lord Xiao Yan. After a brief silence, a sharp thunderous sound erupted from behind. Good. Xiao Yan nodded solemnly, then bowed to the high-ranking members beside him, followed by a salute to the thousands of spirits behind him. Lady, stay here and don't move. Watch as your husband breaks the life and death chessboard. With a graceful voice echoing, Xiao Yan's figure slowly stepped into the death forest. If anything happens to him, all the powerful members of the Gu clan will self-destruct their origin and perish together with the demonic scholar. Gu Abyss looked at Xiao Yan's departing figure and said to Xun'er, he will be fine. Because he is Xiao Yan, he is the descendant of Xiao Yan, and also my husband. It is unimaginable what kind of terrifying fury the demonic scholar will face if Xiao Yan fails. Alas! Xiao Yan bid farewell to the massive army behind him and stepped directly into the death forest. The cold winds blew around, sending chills down his spine. Since this item is an evil artifact of the demonic scholar, why does it contain dark power? Dark power is related to the netherworld realm. How could it possibly be tainted by the extraterritorial evil clan? Xiao Yan remained cautious of his surroundings, while secretly communicating with the dark nether soldier through a palm imprint. I'm not sure, but during the First Great War of Heaven and Earth, the extraterritorial evil clan clashed with countless powerful beings from the Great Thousand Worlds. Along with some highly intelligent creatures, I suspect this item was secretly fused with dark and evil powers after being borrowed and manipulated. It's immensely powerful, and even I don't know its full secret. You must be extra cautious. The dark nether soldier shook his head. The life and death chessboard treats all participants as pawns. If either side fails, all the strong fighters on their side will have all their vitality completely stripped away by the evil artifact's power. Even those with immortality will not escape the laws of heaven and earth. The pressure of this evil artifact is so overwhelming that even if we combine all of our strengths, we cannot break it. This is truly troublesome, Xiao Yan concluded after a brief understanding of the demonic scholar's evil artifact, the life and death chessboard. Buzz buzz. As soon as his words fell, the path behind Xiao Yan vanished completely. Only the blood-soaked earth remained beneath his feet, squirming like quicksand, transmitting a dark, evil force onto Xiao Yan's body. It was bloodthirsty and murderous, like greedy worms, attempting to devour Xiao Yan's power and corpse. Whoosh whoosh. Feeling this suffocating power, Xiao Yan couldn't help but jump in shock. He tried to use his strength, but found himself powerless and could only endure in silence. Dark power. Sensing the immense threat before him, Xiao Yan's palm imprint turned black. In no time, the dark nether soldier transformed into a layer of dark armor, protecting Xiao Yan's entire body. The pressure on Xiao Yan was significantly reduced. Looking up, Xiao Yan saw something resembling a chessboard 1,000 meters away, with the demonic scholar's phantom flickering there. A series of stairs led up to the top of the death forest, where the life and death chessboard lay, Xiao Yan's final destination. After walking some distance, Xiao Yan realized he could not use any of his powers. Neither Do Qi, Sacred Flame, nor Soul Power worked. Even the demonic cube remained still. Clearly, the dark and evil forces in the death forest had created a mental confinement, trapping him in a state of confusion. No turning back, only forward. Then let me face you, Xiao Yan muttered as he walked forward. With each step, the blood-soaked earth behind him seemed to evaporate, and his gaze became sharp. As he advanced slowly, the bloodthirsty aura in the air grew denser, making even this battle-hardened veteran like Xiao Yan feel nauseous. Even dark, granular particles began to appear before his eyes. However, with the protection of the dark nether soldier, these particles did not enter Xiao Yan's body. Instead, some strange energy inside him seemed familiar to them. SSSSSS. The further Xiao Yan went, the clearer he could sense the innate power of the death forest. Underfoot, the countless white bones had already turned to dust. Through keen perception, Xiao Yan could clearly sense the strong desire for life in these fallen remains and the bone-chilling fear on their faces when they died, all of which surged into Xiao Yan's mind. As he continued walking, Xiao Yan reached the center of the death forest. Here, a serene forest stood, filled with twisted trees. Yet, there was no vitality, only an eerie stillness. The trees contorted and lay flat, some resembling human bodies, others like magical beasts, unusual in every way. This level of evil artifact is definitely beyond the control of a late 8-star Do Xian. I suspect it was stolen by the demonic scholar, Xiao Yan said. Even though the dark nether soldier's dark armor protected him, he still felt a chill run down his spine, as though a single wrong step could send him falling into an endless abyss. Master, it seems there's no path ahead, the voice of the dark nether soldier echoed in Xiao Yan's mind, reminding him, there are 10 steps ahead. Once we step through, we will break through the death forest. May fortune favor me, Xiao Yan said with a casual smile. He then took a light step forward, stepping onto the first of the steps. The second step, 2 steps in total. If I step wrong, I'm afraid. Xiao Yan gazed at the 2 identical stone steps in front of him, carefully observing them. After a moment of no discovery, he could only shake his head. He was the hope of the entire Gu clan. One wrong step could leave him stranded here forever. Although there was dark power here, which might allow him to reach the netherworld, by then, Xiao Yan would likely become one of the netherworld's beings, no longer human. Splash. This time, Xiao Yan's expression was vigilant as he quickly stepped onto the left staircase. After a brief pause, he stood firm. Nothing happened. Only then did he proceed to the third step. First step, 1. Second step, 2. The 9th step had a total of 256. Just one more step, 512. Having reached the final step without incident, Xiao Yan felt a huge sense of relief. He didn't think much more about it, closed his eyes, and casually stepped onto the last stone. Crack. There had been no issues with the first 9 steps, but the last one caused trouble. Rear up. Endless dark sand-like particles and a bloody, sinister aura howled out together. The intense pressure overwhelmed Xiao Yan, and the 2 terrifying forces tore at his body, as if the next moment would crush him to pieces. I can't die here. Clan Mark Power. Xiao Clan Bloodline Power. Dragon God Transformation. Basha's Mark. Feeling the overwhelming power of the 2 forces, Xiao Yan activated his final techniques. Whoosh, whoosh. As the terrifying power surged from Xiao Yan, the dark sand particles suddenly froze in midair, as if his power was strangely familiar to them. Crack. In the blink of an eye, the dark sand particles changed targets. They made a 180-degree turn, easily devouring the bloody, sinister aura before quietly dispersing. Strange. What is this power? Xiao Yan had been prepared to fight to the death, but seeing the dark sand particles actually helping him, he couldn't help but express his shock. Having successfully reached the top of the death forest, a horrifying scene washed over Xiao Yan's vision.